Just wanted to make this video about the Defiance and YieldMax ETFs. Now, if you're like me and you're looking to retire on dividends, um, you know the importance of wanting to be able to spend those dividends, right? That's the whole reason for retiring on dividends. You want to be able to spend those dividends and not worry about your account dropping to zero. So what you're looking at here is a spreadsheet I made, and I uh, built in a macro to it, a VBA macro. And I'll put a link in the description where you can download this for free to hopefully help you decide how to best invest in these funds, right? So with these yield max funds, there's a lot of talk about NAV erosion. I've heard a lot of people say that all of these funds are going to go to zero, but I disagree. I think the more safer stocks like Apple, Facebook, Disney, Microsoft, I don't think those are going to go to zero. So, certainly the way they do this strategy, there are certain stocks that are more compatible with the yield max strategy than others. But that's why I made this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is a way you can kind of predict how much money to put into each one and keep your portfolio from going to zero with minimal reinvestment. Okay. Because I personally am trying to retire on YieldMax and I need to spend those dividends to pay my bills. So anyway, let me just go over the sheet here and show you kind of how it works. Here I've listed the ETFs, and I've specifically only listed the high dividend, ETFs for YieldMax and Defiance, right? Which Defiance just has three: JEPY, QQQY, and IWMY. Those are Defiance. Okay, all the rest here are YieldMax. So this is the current yield that I've put down for each one, and then I gave each one a performance score. Now I should specify that this performance score is 100% my own opinion. Okay, if the fund, whatever the fund price was, okay, if it started at 20 and today the fund is at 22, then it gets a score of 1. If it started at 20 and maybe it's hanging around 19 to 20, just a little bit below, then I might give it only a 2, okay? And 3 are for the very poor performers like TSLY, very poor performer. I think if any of these funds are going to zero, it will be Tesla. And by the way, I love Tesla stock. I think Tesla is a great long-term investment. I just think it's going to have some problems for a while. The dividend score. So again, feel free to change this if you like, but the way I did it is a dividend, anything that's paying more than 40%, I give it a score of 1. Anything under 30%, I'm giving it a score of 3. And anything between 30 and 40% gets a score of 2. Okay. And then I kind of weight it over here. I give the score an average, like TSLY, Tesla, its performance score is 3, dividend score is 1, average score is 2. And I use this, guys, to decide how much money I should weight into each ETF, okay? So let's say you actually have $100,000, okay? You type in $100,000 here, and then you push this button, rebalance, and it will automatically rebalance all of them evenly. Now, I'm thinking to myself, okay, how do I best invest my money into these without my account going to zero? I mean, I want the goal is to spend as much of my dividend as possible without worrying about my account dropping to zero. Ideally, I'll be able to spend the max amount of dividend and reinvest the least amount and keep my account balanced, even or even growing a little bit. So there's another sheet I made here, but we're going to go over this in a few minutes, okay? Let's go back to this. I like Apple. So I want to say, okay, Apple's pretty safe. I put it a 2 and a 2, but you could argue that it deserves maybe a 1 and a 2. Anyway, because I feel Apple's safe, I'm going to probably put a little more money into this. So let's say in Apple, we're going to put in 8,000. When you do that, it will change the cell to yellow. So you changed this one. Now let's go to some of these higher performers like Facebook. That's a great one. Maybe we want to put $10,000 in Facebook, okay? And remember, we're using these scores. Everybody knows this. There's no guarantee that past performance is going to be an indication of, the future performance, okay? But, it's not a bad gauge, especially when some of these funds have a good history, okay? So let's say with Coinbase, we want to put in, let's say we put in 6,000 into that. It's pretty volatile, so maybe we don't want to put in too much. I feel like Disney's pretty safe. Maybe we'd put a little more into that. 8,000. AMD. I'll just quickly go through these. Let's say we put 8,000. Okay. Square, 8,000. This one, this one's been a great performer, but I don't know. This one to me is pretty volatile. I'd put a little less into that. I do like the Defiance funds. I especially like these two. So I'd put maybe a little bit more into that one, a little bit more into that one. And YieldMax really has no data yet. So I'll put 6,000 into that. Okay, so once you make your changes, hit rebalance. And what it's going to do is it's going to take all the cells you didn't change and it's going to balance out the money. Your $100,000, this is how you've decided to weight things, okay? 8,000 in Apple, da da da. It's going to show you over here now what your average yearly dividend is looking like. So $100,000, the way you've weighted it would potentially get you an average of around $58,000 per year. Total monthly dividend around 4906. Okay, then this is based on the current month actually, which was January. Now let's go here because here's where we want to. Now here's what we want to look at. So we want to we want to reinvest the minimal amount and keep our account balance going up. The only one with a year of data is Tesla and ARK Invest, right? I just treated this like you had $100,000, and as these funds come available, you invest a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more until you invest your entire 100,000. Because some of these funds, like YieldMax, have only just recently come out, and there's no data, right? But again, YieldMax, I kind of guessed. I put 47. The dividend being 47. Oops, that's actually not right. It'd be like 79. So based on this, based on the way you weighted things, based on past performance, your 100,000 with only reinvesting 5% would now turn into 105,000. Your total payout so far, $16,148. And you've been able to spend virtually all of it. You've only reinvested 5% and you've still kept your money growing. Okay? That's very important, right? Now, once you weight these and you've got something you like this, okay, you can go save current snapshot and it will automatically save this here. And then same with this one, you can say, I like this, save it, and it automatically saves here. So now let's go back here. If you want to start over, you don't like this, or you want to just test multiple scenarios, just reset the colors, rebalance, and it will evenly distribute again, just like this, okay? And then you go back through and you weight everything. But let me show you, right? Like everybody is a fan of TSLY. There's so many videos online about TSLY, but I'm telling you guys, I think this is one you don't want to buy too much of. Even if you keep a little money into it, I would keep it very little because I do think TSLY is one of those that's going to go to zero. And they're going to find themselves doing a reverse stock split on it, like almost for sure. It's just the way Tesla trades, but that's my opinion. But let's just look. Let's say, hey, you know what? I love Tesla. I wanted to put most of my money into it. So let's say you put 50,000 of your 100,000 into Tesla, okay? Let's say you've made some poor decisions. Maybe you ended up putting 10,000 into Netflix. Okay. What are some of the other poor performers? This AIYY, maybe you put 10,000 into that one. Okay. Now let's rebalance it. Okay. Yeah, you got a great dividend. I mean, you're making an average yearly dividend of 66,000, which looks very attractive. But again, You want to keep your balance up. If you did that, your starting balance would be 100,000, but your balance today would only be $80,000. I don't know about you, but that bothers me. I don't want to see that. I realize you get dividends, and I realize that your total payout. So your total payout's 33,000. So technically you're up $13,000. But if you keep on that sort of path, you're just going to watch this balance go to zero someday. You don't want to stay on that path. Ideally, you want to reinvest the right amount. Now, you can adjust the amount you reinvest up here. If you adjust this, it will recalculate everything. So let's, maybe we reinvested 50%. Okay, you reinvested 50%. Now your balance is at 90,000. The way we currently have it weighted. 100%. Okay, 100% would leave you at 104,000 with a total payout of 41. I mean, that's pretty good. But again, I don't know about you guys, but again, for guys like me, I want to spend the dividends. I don't want to reinvest all of it. Now, if you're a younger person and you don't care, then by all means, by all means, do what works for you. But yeah, really, that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to show you was my sheet to help me decide how to best weight each fund to keep my performance up while at the same time being able to spend the dividends. Hey, do you agree with me, disagree with me? Leave comments below. I want to learn from you guys as much as maybe you're learning from me. I made this spreadsheet in the hopes of helping other people, so feel free to use it. Don't use it. If you're good with Visual Basic, you can edit it any way you like. Edit it to make it work for you. So anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and good luck.